I'm pleased to support all of these measures before us today, and I thank our members on both sides of the aisle for their hard work. We have several good bipartisan measures before us today that help advance the U.S.-Israel relationship, strengthen Israel's security, and move towards a two-state solution. First, the United States-Israel Cooperation Enhancement and Regional Security Act, H.R. 1837. This legislation cultivates the relationship between the United States and Israel, touching on how our countries learn from one another on a wide range of issues, from helping veterans confront issues with PTSD to advancing space cooperation and improving water and desalination issues. This legislation also advances critical priorities for both Israelis and the Palestinians. It helps restore U.S. assistance to Palestinians and gives American victims of terrorism a clearer pathway to justice in American courts. I welcome this opening for economic and security assistance for the Palestinians to move ahead. As some of us learned in recent travel to Israel, there are major security considerations for both Israelis and Palestinians now that the security assistance has been cut off due to interpretations of the underlying law. It's also important that we resume programs that promote tolerance and peace building. I thank Congressman Deutsch, Ranking Member McCall, and Congressman Wilson for their work on this measure. I hope it will help provide some justice to families of the victims of Palestinian terrorist attacks. And as we meet today, violence continues to terrorize the Israeli people. Only a couple of months ago, Israelis endured hundreds of rocket attacks from Gaza, with attacks meant to threaten civilians. I'm glad we're considering the Palestinian International Terrorism Support Prevention Act, which puts new sanctions on those who sponsor Hamas and Islamic Jihad. I thank Mr. Mast and Mr. Gottheimer for their leadership in crafting this important measure. We will also consider HRS 246, a resolution that points out that the global boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement, or BDS, hinders progress on reaching a two-state solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The global BDS movement demonizes only one side of this conflict, and it puts the onus entirely on Israel to solve this protracted issue, when in reality, the Palestinians need to do their part to move toward a solution. Almost 80% of the House has co-sponsored this resolution, and I'm glad we're able to move it forward today. I thank its bipartisan sponsors, Representatives Schneider, Nadler, Zeldin, and Wagner, for their work on this important issue. Next, I want to discuss a measure that's particularly close to my heart, H-Conres 3.2, which deals with the murder of the Petici brothers in the Balkans. Yili, Agron, and Mehmet Petici were three brothers from New York State who were killed execution-style by Serbian officials after they mistakenly crossed the unmarked Serbia-Kosovo border. Their bodies were discovered with their hands bound behind their backs in a mass grave in 2001. Serbian President Vučić promised me more than 2 years ago that his government would bring the murderers to justice. It is simply unacceptable that no Serbian individuals have been brought to justice for these murders. Apparently, there is not even a serious criminal investigation underway. This is outrageous. As chairman, I'll continue to speak on this and support legislation that addresses this injustice. Today's resolution makes it clear that Serbia must fully investigate the Petici brothers' case and bring justice to the families of these murdered New Yorkers. U.S.-Serbia relations depend on Serbia's adherence to the rule of law and human rights and commitment to prosecute horrendous criminal cases such as this. A few weeks ago, when I was in Serbia, I spoke directly with the Serbian President Vučić to tell him that the Petici case must be resolved. I've said this to him many times. I've had promises that it would be resolved, but so far, no results. Finally, I want to mention my resolution on the importance of a trilateral cooperation between the United States, Japan, and the Republic of Korea. It's critical that our three nations are able to work together. We have too many urgent national security concerns not to do so. So I'm very troubled by the growing tensions between Japan and South Korea, and I urge both countries to find a way forward which restores their ability to cooperate with each other and with us. This is a good resolution. I urge my colleagues to join me in supporting it. Again, I support all the measures in our en bloc package, and I urge all members will join me in doing so.